John Cleese already mentioned that you need space in order to, be creative. And let's talk about offices and spaces. So this is a famous picture from a Jacques Tati movie called Playtime, where he looks at the modern times basically and is in this space here, seeing all these people working in their rooms. They all look the same. It's basically an apocalyptic kind of view of how future modern life looks like. No natural light. They're locked off everywhere. But they're isolated from each other. There's no way they see each other, they talk to each other. And we know that in order to have ideas, you need many ideas. And how do you create many ideas? By helping people, bump into each other. So we talk here about informal collision spaces. And that's here an example that you see. This is SAP. These are these 3-star buildings, SAP. And I worked in those buildings. So the way it was arranged is you had the offices at these wings, but in the center was a big atrium. So whenever you had to go to the bathroom or wanted to get a coffee, coffee and tea was for free, you would go into the center of that star building. And the way it was designed is you also could see easily the other floors. So it was very likely that you bumped into other people and talked with them. And, hey, I wanted to talk to you about that. And those things that are happening out of that drive innovation, bring it forward. So architecture that has informal collision spaces is very important for innovation. These informal collision spaces create these unplanned cross collisions. So in the end, this creates inspiration and collaboration. And we call it also the return on collision level hour. So when you come together, basically, it's not the ROI, it's the ROC, return on collisions that you have, and not in a negative way, a car crashing and colliding, but people bumping into each other and starting conversations. Here's a picture from inside that building, so you can easily see of how easy it was for me to see a colleague even 2 floors down there, and I could quickly, I send you an email, let's go for a coffee, and I want to discuss with you something. Another company that is very well known for that is Pixar. Steve Jobs was the largest shareholder, owned Pixar actually, and he designed or helped design the main building that they had, that it was not separated by the different departments here, the creatives here, the marketing department here, the accountants, but that it was all centered around a central place, a cafeteria, the bathrooms. Even if you had to walk farther than everyone else, you met their others. And then everyone was allowed to decorate and make their rooms, make their offices the way they liked it. And you see here a lot of these pictures. And this, of course, creates additional traffic because I go and visit those guys over there. They have a secret bar here at the bottom so that they can get in. This is the secret bar now from the inside. Steve Jobs tended to hang out. Or you have Google office designs where they use very different things. This is, for example, Google in the Netherlands. They have this camper as a meeting room. Some others that are, topics that's like a fake kitchen that I have outside that I feel like home. Or here is a co-working space in San Mateo in California, where it's a so-called the hero city. That's why you have Batman and Superman and all these heroes in the back. And here are the startups working on the next, fintech, blockchain, Bitcoin startup, and sitting together in an environment is enticing. This all kind of started that we understood that better with what is called the MIT Building 20. The MIT built in the middle of the war this just ugly looking shack. So it was really shack. It was considered only to be temporarily there. So it was confusing. It was just made out of wood. It was confusing. The numbering system didn't make sense. So you basically always were in the wrong room, or you were looking for, even if you worked already 10 years there, you bumped into the wrong room, and then you saw somebody and thought, what are you actually doing? And that created these informal collisions. But there was something else. Because it was seen only as a temporary building, there was not really anyone, taking care of it or interested. So facility management just didn't take care of that. So it was easy to just take a drill and drill a hole in the ceiling 4 floors up, 2 floors up, in order to build your, atomic watch clock that they built, yeah, or just drill a hole into the wall in order to put a wire through that and build your machine that you were doing. And this, because nobody took care of that, it allowed for quick prototyping. And that is one of the things that you have to consider when you build an innovation lab or build or look at innovative spaces. Don't use the fanciest, most expensive designer furniture. Just go to IKEA, buy the cheapest stuff, put it in, and let the people do with them whatever they want. Because if you have a 39 euro shelf or table there, and you have stains or you saw something out in order to put and mount a new invention, you don't care about this IKEA table, do you? So in this MIT building, this professor said also, its temporary nature, the temporary nature of the building 20 permitted its occupants to abuse it in ways that would not be tolerated in a permanent building. If you wanted to run a wire from one lab to another, you didn't ask anybody's permission. You just got a screwdriver and poked a hole through the wall. That's Paul Panfield, former MIT professor. Yeah. So it may help, and you remember that picture. That was basically the beginning of this class. This is such a Tinkershop. So this is a design studio in San Francisco that I know, and they put out all these tools and materials. Of course, it looks not as if there is much use for that or that they're using it much, but at least you give the signal, try out stuff, do stuff, yeah? Give them messages that, here you're invited to do stuff. Here is the tech shop in San Francisco. So what we did there is we did a chain reaction machine, and that is the place where you can do that stuff. And you see it's sparsely decorated, wires are hanging around, so you're not really worried of gluing something to the wall or putting a nail in there or moving a table or a chair. And that's what we did, a chain reaction machine. Here's another example. This is an office, SAP Labs in the US, in Palo Alto. And what they have here, you see people are just drawing pictures, and in its design process, then they stick it up to the wall. And the wall, as you can see, is writable. It has a little foil on top of that allows you to take markers and write directly on that. So you can use everything what you have there. And actually, SAP Labs uses a lot of IKEA furniture that is there so that you feel really comfortable in abusing the stuff and using it. Similarly, for children, you may look at how children are doing that. When you look at your own experience, if you're old enough, of how your playgrounds looked like, and now you see these type of playgrounds that are really polished today and super safe, they're not creating or inciting creativity. But you want to have an adventure playground like this, old tires, stuff that looks dangerous, yeah, where helicopter parents today would be like scared. But this is something where kids learn, where kids push their boundaries, where they try out stuff and do whatever they have. Remember the tire exercise? Yeah. Kids have way more ideas, and you may also have more ideas if you are in the role of being allowed to think like a 7-year-old child. So actually, really, here, go to IKEA, buy this furniture. This looks like a place where I want to be. It's friendly, it's spacious. I'm sitting with people there. I'm not afraid of, painting something here or writing with a marker or sticking something on there or putting a nail in that or moving the furniture, because it's just an IKEA furniture. Not that I say it's cheap and not looking good. It looks good, but it's cheap. So even if there's something happening, I'm not, destroying a designer furniture for several thousand euro.